is a movie that was critically acclaimed despite being only on Netflix and not in theaters. It also inspired a viral challenge on social media, as well as several people planning on naming their children boy and girl. Just like how some people wanted to name their children Bella and Edward after that vampire book came out. Now come on, naming your children after characters from Twilight is so last decade. Naming your kids Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash though, that is timeless.
We're doing a video about birds!
Anyway, the movie begins with Sandra Bullock on a boat on a river with two children, a boy and a girl named Boy and Girl. We jump back a couple months before this as we see her painting and chatting with her friend before she heads over to the hospital to check up on her upcoming baby.
First recorded in Romania, there's now an alarming spread of incidents into Europe and Siberia.
Shortly after Sandra says that she might give the child up for adoption, as well as have wine with her lunch, an outbreak begins as people begin trying to commit dire all around. Her friend included, as she tries to flip the car that they're in, and then walking into an oncoming truck. Sandra ends up getting rescued by a group of survivors who seek refuge in a house with other survivors, including George from Law & Order, being John Malkovich, the TSA guy from Get Out, and even Machine Gun Kelly. There are other people as well, like this woman who's also about to have a baby, and Tom, who Sandra apparently used to babysit years ago. Everyone begins to theorize what's going on outside, as they come to the conclusion that there's some kind of invisible creature that are conjured by sight, meaning everyone must be blindfolded, or keep their eyes closed, or keep away from windows. Anything that can result in looking outside. Even simply watching CCTV camera footage of these beings can cause them to strike. All the while this is happening, we keep cutting back and forth to them on the boat, as well as the main story that's supposed to be taking place before any of this. Because that's not distracting at all! As time goes by, the gang realizes that they're running low on supplies and must do a supply run, and they make their way to Walmart by putting cloth on the windows all over the car. And everyone cheers with glee as they seemingly get unlimited supplies.
A big announcement to all of us collectively are making the end of the world great again!
Well, here's an argument. We're not assholes.
We're not assholes!
Just a second.
The gang eventually leaves after a guy convinces TSA to go outside and he is taken by the creatures. After a quiet ride back, we then get some character growth as Sandra talks to the other woman and they begin to bond. Months go by, they begin to have children, and the gang cautiously let a man stay with them, as it turns out that he's possessed by the monsters, and he begins opening all the windows and everyone dies one by one. Also, apparently in this movie's universe, a garage doesn't actually have a garage door button in it, since being John Malkovich doesn't try to close the garage that he's trapped in. Eventually Malkovich shoots Randy, and Randy gets his hands on some scissors, and Tom ends up ending him before he can get anyone else in the main cast, like him, and Sandra, and the babies. Jump forward a couple months after that, we then see Tom and Sandra raising the kids together, and Sandra didn't want to get too close to the kids, so that's why she just named them Boy and Girl. Yep. Really. That is actually a thing that happens in this movie.
I'm not even kidding. That's not even me being sarcastic. That's actually what happens.
They eventually get a signal from another group of survivors who turn out to be, shock of all shocks, possessed by the creatures. As Sandra and the kids make a run for it, Tom bites the dust in the process. And we finally make it forward to all the jumping back and forth throughout the movie, including a scene where Sandra asks one of the kids to take off their blindfolds and see where they are, as well as them being attacked by an imaginary fisherman. They all go over a waterfall, but thankfully they regroup in the woods below. After a large chase scene where everyone temporarily loses their blindfolds, it all ends with everyone ending up at a sanctuary full of survivors, most of which happen to be blind people, that keep the evil creatures at bay with a large collection of birds, as that was hinted all throughout the film, because apparently the evil creatures don't like birds. So overall, this movie is what happens when you mix A Quiet Place and The Happening. I don't even know what that means, and I just said it. And I know what you're probably thinking. Pony Fanboy, why did you review this movie? It isn't like Playing with Fire, where it's all about ponies. Well, it's funny you say that, because...
You can cancel the appointment, we can go see a horse.
Nothing gets any worse. You're gonna want to be off the roads and on a damn horse. Hold your horses. Yeah.
North Korea or Iran.
Fuck the horse.
Sandra Bullock is a brony confirmed.
Just hanging out with the family, having ourselves a party. Just hanging out with my family, having ourselves a party. We could just stay here. We have, years supply of food and drink right here. We don't ever have to pay, and we shouldn't ever leave.